Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. We are continuing over here in the words of the PELE YOETZ. And the PELE YOETZ writes over here in the words of Ahavas Bonim how to love one's children the following. Never decrease or diminish the honor of the child in front of other people. In order that he should not be offended by your actions. Meaning, you have to be so careful, even though that the PELE YOETZ is speaking over here about the obligation to discipline your children in the right way. When you do it in front of other people, if you embarrass your child, you're causing a lot of pain to that child. You're not allowed to do that. We must also be very careful what our sages teach us. Do not treat any of your children differently one from the other, meaning show favoritism to one, ki kasha, ki shol kina, because worse than the underworld is kina, is the jealousy in this world. And if you shower one of your children with love and attention more than you do to the other kids, if you end up praising one kid much more than you do the other kids, if you end up giving gifts and prizes and presents to one kid over the other kid, and it becomes obvious to your other children that you quote-unquote love this kid more than you love the other ones, you are creating kina, you're creating jealousy between the brothers, and that is a terrible thing. Haklal hu, the general principle is, lefi daito yimidaisav shel ben, everything that you do with your children is according to their das, to their maturity level, and their midos, their character, what they can handle, what they cannot handle. And a father has to deal with his son in a way that the son himself or the child, his daughter, is not going to do chait. They will not sin. And if this child rebels against the father and does some kind of sinful behavior to the father, you better forgive him very quickly, so that your son or your daughter does not get punished as a result of you bearing a grudge or getting angry or upset with him. If he did something wrong, be meichel him, forgive him. Listen to these words. Don't be so particular with the actions of your children. Sometimes even make yourself like a mute. Lo yishma, that you don't hear what he says. Or you don't even see what he does. And sometimes you have to even give up what you want for the ratzon, for the will of your children. This is a tremendous principle. For someone who wants merits for himself and merits for his children and children's children after him. Says the PELE YOETZ, this is 200 years ago, and he's cutting edge chinuch. And that is, your kids are going to make mistakes. They are going to do things that are wrong because they're children. As we pointed out, they have narisha, they have foolish, silly ways in which they conduct themselves in this world. They make mistakes, they have faults, they have deficiencies, they're far from perfect, they're immature, and the whole list can go on. And they're going to do things that do not find favor in your eyes. So you have two choices, says the PELE YOETZ. Either you could be medactic, you could be particular with every wrong thing, or silly thing, or foolish thing that your child does, and call him out for it again and again and again, and you can drive your children crazy. Or you can make it as if you didn't even see what they did. You didn't even notice the foolish, silly things that they're getting involved with. You didn't even hear that wild statement that came out of their mouth, or the harsh things that they said perhaps to one of their siblings. You didn't even hear it. You turned the other way. Because sometimes, says the PELE YOETZ, in order to remain the equilibrium and the dignity of your children in the house, you must be a parent that is able to overlook the faults, and as we will talk about, you must be a parent that's able to see the positive and the strengths and the good aspects of your child. And someone who keeps focusing in on the negativity and calls their children out for that, you're just breaking and ruining the children, chas v'shalom. And therefore, if you want to be mezak, if you want to bring merits to yourself, and you want to bring merits to your children, and the children that they're going to raise as well, be a normal parent. A normal parent is someone who realizes, just like I myself have my own inner faults, just like I myself have weaknesses, I myself am imperfect in my midos, in my character, in my davening, in my learning. I'm far from being a tzaddik. So my children, who have had no time to really work on themselves, al achas kama v'kama, all the more so, they are far from perfection. So you know what? I'm going to learn how to overlook what they do wrong. I'll learn how to not listen to the things that are being said. I'll learn how to turn the other way, not to catch them in the act of some foolish behavior of a child. It doesn't mean that we just let them go on to become wilde chayes, wild animals, running around doing anything they want. We still have to discipline, and we still have to make the boundaries, and we still have to put them, help them to walk the right path in this world. At the same time, we cannot be demonstrative, and we cannot be overbearing and overwhelming on the actions of children, because they are just children and they are trying their best, and the loving parent will be able to give the support to a child in this world. The best support that a child can have is from their parents, and when they see that their parents don't focus in on the negative but rather see the positive, that is the muscle building aspect of the child that gives them the great feeling and sense of self. It gives them the confidence, it gives them pride, and they're proud of themselves, and that way they will continue to grow, and they will improve, and they will mature, and they will bring you nachas. They will be a nachas to themselves, they'll be a nachas to their family, to their parents, and ultimately, which is the greatest nachas that any of us can wish for, is that that which we do finds the greatest nachas in the eyes of Hashem. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.